Okay, welcome back for another episode. I'm happy to say I've got Etienne Tardif with me. Etienne is actually a mechanical engineer with 20 plus years experience in Canada, South America, and Australia. And Etienne is the captain of what we call the OMS lead program here at Outliers, which stands for Leadership Exploration and Development. So a really hands-on approach to leadership development for the mining industry. So Etienne, you've got an interesting story that you were sharing with me where you actually found your first job as a supervisor looking after a set crew was more difficult than when you were a manager looking after 200 people. So maybe you could start there and fill us in.
Yeah, so I guess most of us get thrown into supervision without any real training or education or experience. And I guess that's what happened to me. So at that point, I was 6 months into mining. Yes, I had an engineering degree, but that doesn't prepare you for dealing with 14 millwrights, welders, machinists, and laborers. That was the task, and I had to learn by myself a lot of these skills because one thing with mining is there's not that many coaches and mentors out there, and it's difficult to get raw advice about are you doing good or bad. So that's the supervision part. So I struggled for the first, let's say, 6 months, and then I started getting into a groove and learning about people, working with people, and finding that balance. And the key word there was people. And then fast forward, I think it was 5, 6 years, I became responsible for close to 200 people. But by that time, I had processes, tools, guidelines. I had a better understanding of the whole picture of mining and running a department that I'd say the first couple of months it was difficult because I was trying to do everything by myself. But once I had the groove, I knew about delegating, assigning tasks, putting processes in place. It was actually a really easy job. And my supervision part actually took me maybe 2 hours a day. And after that, I'd go walk the floor, interact with all the levels, operators, maintainers, in the pit, underground, site services, everybody. So I had a knack. I would walk the floor, do the process plan in the morning, do the underground in the afternoon. You do that stuff, then you know what all the problems are. Because people see you, they'll tell you how they feel. They tell you how they feel honestly. You've got all the material there to fix stuff.
Yeah, okay. There's a lot to unpack there. So we've got things like, it starts with people, and correct me if I'm missing anything, but also having structures in place so that you can do the supervision part. And then kind of nothing beats that boots on the ground leadership where you're actually walking the floor and understanding people.
So basically, my supervision job became easy once I put structure into the role, where I basically built their schedule, what we do when, who does what. I understood who has what skill set, who has what gaps, who needs some help, what type of training people can get. And once I had that structure, it was much easier to manage the crew and work with the crew and lead the crew.
So, okay, now you've developed this program and coaching it to miners, up and coming supervisors around the world. What's the problem that you're trying to solve, and how are you going about doing that?
People. So I believe teaching, so being a coach, a mentor, is probably number one in being a good
Yeah.
leader. One question I ask when I meet people is, and I stole it from Simon Sinek, he always asks people, do you love your job?
Right.
Okay. There's so much in that question. The response you get from I love my job, you could see the stress. If they don't love their job, their face, their body language changes. And then you can
Yeah.
have a discussion to say, what's going on? We talk about careers, we talk about where they want to be, their stress, because they trust me. And it's important to build that trust. When I talk to a guy on the floor or a gal on the floor, first question is, how are you doing? How are you feeling? And if they tell me, I can't just walk away. I have to listen to them. And then go through the process of listening to somebody and trying to see if I can do something, but do that 15 times a day, times 7 days a week, you gather a lot of information. There'll be evidence, there'll be proof, there'll be something there that you can use to help coach somebody, improve a supervisor in your group. Yourself as a manager, you're having an impact that you didn't know you had. So OMS leads about showing folks these skills, how to read people, how to listen to that nonverbal, how to have a conversation. And it's not to get the most out of people. It's to get people at their natural best. So they're doing what they can and they know what their potential is, and we make people grow. And that's the point of OMS Lead, is to take people through that journey.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we could probably talk about this for the next 2 hours. If somebody wants to find out more, Etienne, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
I'd say through the website. I guess I've got my email, etienne.tardif at outliersminingsolutions.com. But I'd say, yeah, through the website would be the best.
Fantastic. Okay, well, thanks so much.